So hi everybody and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 31 and we continue with our weapon attach, and we stopped here where we said that we can use keys to change our weapons. Here we could create many keys, copy this code here, change here the variable to new weapons, and we could create thousands of weapons here. But we have a problem. The problem is then we need also 1,000 keys, and we don't use in gaming 1,000 keys. And to solve this one, there are different ways. One way is to use, for example, a flip-flop. It's not perhaps the best way, but there is another way, is to use an array. Then you can just use one key and it will toggle through. But let's get started and let me show what I mean with that. First of all, let's see where we are. We are here. I press the E key, I can switch. I press the Q key, I can switch my weapon, and so on. This works fine. And if you have more weapon defines, you can switch even more weapons. So now the switching with the E key and the Q key is here. This is just this little code here, what we have here. And I can use a trick, which is a flip-flop actually. And this one can can make it that we just use one key and activate this two codes here. And let me show what I mean with that. First of all, let's define a new key, and let's define, this time I press F. That's F key. Okay, here's my F, and then F key, here's my F key. And if I want to press this one, I get a flip-flop. Let's start from start, how we get it. We get here out, write flip-flop, and if you write flip-flop, something like this one pops up and you press it. And a flip-flop is just a switcher, and a switcher means if you press this F one time, it activates the first A. If you press it again, then it will activate the B, and if you press it again, then again A, and then if you press again and B, and so on. So it switch all time these two pins, so it activates all time a different pin after you switched. The bad thing about this one, I thought I can find here a flip-flop with more pins. That was not possible, but there is another way to do. But let's connect this. How we should connect this works just easy. We just go here on top and connect this first. We can keep this one, but let's make it a little bit more visible, or let's make it other way around. I don't want to mess up with this code. That's why we just copy this one. copy, and Control C, Control V is copy. I copy this code, and now I just go here in the middle. A for U, double click for a reroute node if you want, and B for you. And again, at the reroute node, with a double click, you can make here some reroute nodes and make it more beautiful or something like that. So you can read it easier. So that's also very important. And if you see there is something like this one, it's not straight a lane. Select all and press Q, and it's make that straight line here, and easier to read later in coding. It's set. So we can compile here, save that, and we can already test this. So let's go to our game, and now I press F key, and I press again F key, and you see I can switch very easy now with one key. The problem here is this flip-flop, like I said before, it has only two pins, and let's say I have more, right? Let's say I have here a little bit more things to switch. Then I have to make now the other one. Can I use the other one on the bottom? Or I have to create one. Let's create fast one. This one is fast. I create fast one more line here just by copying this one. Copy and V. Now I have created this one more line. Let's move this whole code, which was before there, down. It's just irritating us. And go back. And here I just make one more thing. The only thing what I have here to change fast is create here another variable and assign a default value. That's very easy. I said how you can do it. Just delete this one, right click, or create here a variable, but this one is easier. Right click here, promote to variable, and rename this name here. Let's rename this to x3, and this is my x3. And we have compile it, because here in default values you see I can't assign anything, but when you compile, this one comes will be available. And then we have to assign our third x. Of course, we go fast to the weapons. Go here. Let's get rid of the sockets right now. Let's click here. We go to the weapons, find a weapon which we want. In this case, I think I used this two. I never used this one. This one we created before this blueprint. I hope you know how to make this. And then we just click here, or you write the name. Because I selected this one here. No, that's not showing. Because I selected this one here. If it's selected and I use the back arrow, it's easy to get. So that's that. Compile one more time, save. And now I have made a third X. Very easy, but the problem is I have not a third pin. This one goes a little bit difficult now, because the problem here is you have to create a combination of flip-flops. And yes, with 4 it's cool, but with 3 it's not so cool. And why? For example, I search here from the second pin, again a flip-flop. Well, let's see from where I have even add here 2 more flip-flops. For example, I have flip-flop, add here a flip-flop for the A pin, and then it works too. Sorry, it works too. Actually, it works too. I just thought it will not, but actually it can work. I'm not sure, but let's test it. So the point is, flip-flop, I explained to you how it works. When I press it one time, this flip-flop will activate this A pin, right? But this one goes here in, and it will activate also the A pin. So it activates this line. Cool. The second one, I just delete this one and connect this one to this one. So if very important is now what I say, when I press again, this one will not activate this pin here, because it will jump first to the second one here. And that means the second weapon, you should go here down, and it will activate then this one. And if you press this one again, then it activates A again, because it switch all time up and down, and it goes here. But this one was already activated, so it will activate it here, this one. And this one will still work. I thought it works not, but this one works fine, and so on. And probably you have then built your logic here if you have more weapons. For example, if you have 4 weapons, then you build here this logic with this one. This can work. I think it's okay if it's work perfect and it costs no performance. Good. Let's test this. We start fast. I press, what was the key? It was F. Okay. I press F1. I press F again. I press F again. I press F. I press F. And anyhow, is this right? Let's see. Let's see. So I start with this strange thing. I press F. Then F. F. I'm not sure. I see there this middle X more times than the other ones, right? So this one, you have probably do a little bit more logic here. What I mean with this is just combinations. What should be activated and not. And that's why this can be very not... for 4, I know it's very easy, but for 3, you have to here a little bit tweaking it around, and then you can still make it, I think, anyhow. But there is another solution. And the other solution is just, let's delete this one now. The other solution is just to create an array. And this is also not the best solution what I found here. I made it just fast ahead, and if it's work, I set it perfect. So how we make this? So compile save, we have an error because I deleted something which was needed. That one we create anyway, so you can stay as an error. It's not so wild because this one is just, oh, let's make this one, so compile. So this one I will create. I have deleted this calling things here. That's not so important. So let's how we make this. So instead of using this f here, let's make an array version of this whole thing here. So let's go down. An array, if you know, it's just it's similar to a list. You put all the actors, the axes, for example, the weapons which you want, just in the array, and then you select the index in the list. The index means just the number in the list where it stays, and then you can use this weapon. And of course, there are other ways. There are lists here and maps and whatever. There are many ways. This is just a fast way. And later you can find better ways probably, but let me show what I mean with this one. So we keep still our destroy actor from before because this one stays. We have at the first time destroy our actor, and the reason for that is because this will destroy the current weapon in our hand, get rid of it, and I want spawn another weapon. That stays. Okay, that's fine. So what we do then here is create an array actually, and we need this. So here it says let's create an array variable. So how we create actually an array variable, we have not talked about that much, right? So let's go here in variables, let's click plus, and let's say we need a list with weapons, and let's call this weapon list, for example, weapon list, and let's write also array. And this array normally would not write, but we write it so we know when we read it, this is the weapon list array. It's easier. For example, this one is also an array here, but here you have to check the symbol here that this is an array. But if it had sorry. If the name includes already an array, then I know it instantly. All right, then we have something, an array, but this one is actually not an array, right? I have clicked variable, I have clicked write the name, but I have to change here. First of all, what I have to change here, the type. There is many things. We need an actor. That's good. Actor is this blueprint what we created here later. The weapons, the blueprints are all actors here, and that's why that's perfect. And important is here, it is a class, actor class. It is not an actor. Let me show the other one, which is also most time irritating. Actor. When I type actor here, you see here object types actors, and then we have an object reference and a class reference, and we need this class reference because the other one is a direct instance probably, or something like that. So select this class reference here, and there's one more step we have to do. And this is, we go to the details panel here, although perhaps we can do this here too, no. And here in variable type, actor, this one we have done, perfect. We go here to this drop down menu, and here we have now options, and you can see here's also a version with map, set, and so on. This one we use most times single, but in this case we are going and click an array. Okay, there's and very important, when we set this to a new type like so, this default value is not immediately shown, right? You have to go here and compile. And now we have options here, which is very important. And this option is to create the list of arrays. For example, right now it's empty. There is nothing, 0 array elements. I add how many weapons you want. In this case, I could add if I want 6, but let's do the same like here, these 3 ones that I have not to do much. So let's add them. How we add them? You click plus, go to 1 array element, second weapon, and my third weapon. So I have 3 weapons now, but not right. Important is here, when you watch this index, it starts with 0, and that is in programming all time. All time it starts with 0, so it's if we have here 3 elements, but the last index is 2, not 3, because it starts with 0. That's a programming thing. That's normal. Okay, that said, let's continue. The next thing what we have to do is we have not assigned the weapons, right? We have created now an index. We have created an actor place, but we have to assign that. Very easy. You find now here the weapons, the names. If you know, I don't know the names, so I make the easy way. I click here. I just select the first one. Click here, and then I don't need all time write the names. This is very fast for me. And let's do the other way too. But there are other ways with bulk select and something like that. And there is an easier way probably. But this one is fast enough for us. So compile, save. Now I have assigned 3 weapons here. 3 different weapons. Perfect. The array which I created as a variable is created. Cool. But what is the next step actually? I have this array list with my weapons. And I need a way to get them, right? I need to select them anyhow. So first of all, before I can select them, I have to put them in our screen, and we use the get here. And then now I have this variable here, and now I can get, and how I get them, very easy. We need a get node, and this one will get a copy. This is just a copy is there are different ways of getting, and this is the copy getting. Just keep this in mind. It's not very important. Just learn right now get copy. Later it is important. Sometimes you want not a copy. For example, if there is a big object, in the most time of big objects you don't want a copy because this costs performance. And then you make a reference, get a reference instead of copy. Normally reference is all time better, but in this cases with less elements, a copy is okay. Will cost not much performance, and that's why we use here all time copy. That said, let's continue a little bit. The problem is here, when I get this one, it has here an index already defined 0. And we have to change this. And the way we change this is all time convert this value here in a variable, because a variable we can change, right? But this one we can change too, but this one we have to change manually with our hand. So we have to go in code and write what we want. Let's keep this one because we want not go all time in the code. That's why we change this one to a variable. We do the same trick like all time. You can create a variable here and put it here, but easier, right click on it, promote to variable. So it creates for you the variable, and you have just to rename it. You select it. You can go here on the right side or just click and F2 to rename it. Let's call this one. What was it? Let's call this right. Weapon index. Yes, index is good. Makes sense. Weapon index, and I already used it, that's why I call it 2. You can call it weapon index just, and then this one will get the weapon index. Let's compile, all time compile this one so it's updated. Right now when I compile it, you see this one has a default value of 0. That is okay, and when we get this, it will get the first element, because in our weapon array 0 is this weapon. It will get this weapon here. All right, so far so cool. And now what we are doing is, okay, it gets now from this array this weapon, the first weapon in the list, but we have to assign it to our current weapon, and which we are using. We have defined this already beforehand, and the current weapon, which I called this time current weapon 2, I think. Current weapon 2. This one we have defined already. If not, you create it. It's easy. It's just a variable. Get current. Oops, not get. Set current weapon. Where is the current weapon again? Yeah, current weapon. And here are set. And you see you can create this variable if you have not. And then here I can just plug in this one. And now I set the current weapon, which I have here, to this one, which it gets from my array. So, and there is one more. I think that's here. That's okay. And let's make it a little bit more stylish. Okay, that's good. And then current weapon. This one is again wrong, like before. I copied there something from where I don't know where. This one is not really needed because it was never set there. That's okay. Let's go on. And then what is the next step? What we need here? Okay, weapon index. This one is not. I think this one we can do later. I explain you what this one is later. Let me just go to the end, and it says, oops, after this one, I want just spawn the weapon left hand, and which means I use this one here. Spawn this one. I use this function here because I set this current weapon to spawn this function, this event here. I need to define this current weapon, and this one I did with this here. This setup, this little setup here, is just defining this variable here, and now I can use this whole thing with what I already did to spawn this weapon. So we did this already. That's why we can now call the spawn weapon on left hand. Let's do this. But we will have there a problem. I will show you that in a moment. Also spawn. Where is this? Spawn weapon. I have a right hand, I have a left hand, but careful, all time check what you have, because I checked it not before and it spawned anywhere and I had errors. Let's double click on it. Okay, it jumps here to the right place, and then it will go here, and this one we already talked what this is. The only thing what we made is just like before said, which defined this variable. And this one should already work. Compile, of course, save, of course. And when I press F, let's see what happens. I think there will be some errors, but let's see. I press one time F. Okay, I press one more time F. Nothing. Okay, I press one more time F. Nothing. And I press one more time F. Nothing. And I press this one. So here is an error. Something is wrong, and I don't know what. So let me check this one fast. Did I set? Let me see. So we destroyed this weapon. We are current weapon. We set the weapon. We call this weapon, and it comes here on top. It set the weapon. Perfect. Current weapon actor is be set. Current weapon actor is be used, and the current weapon actor, let's see, that's okay, so why it's not working? I'm blind all time when I record. I'm blind anyhow, and I miss something here. Later, if I watch this in normal mode, it will work. So anything I missed here, 0, 1, 2, get use 0. Let me test it one more time. The second one, and no errors. Okay, I don't see it instantly because I have to watch this again a little bit more with things. Oh, yes. Oh, perhaps I have it. 1 second, I think. Don't destroy actor, get weapon. Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, it makes sense that it's only showing one weapon, because I have not shown you this one because I wanted show you an arrow, but this arrow was never happened because it just switched to one to the next weapon but not to the other weapons, and I thought it should throw an arrow, but this was not the case here. The arrow comes after this one here, so this one I had to program here as well. That makes sense. I was irritated. Okay, so what we have, let me explain again what the problem was fast and what we have to do. In this case, when I press F, it destroys our weapon. It finds in the list the next, let me show the list. In the list, it finds here the first index, what is this one, so it looks what the index is 0, and it checks the list. Index 0 is this one. It assigns here the new weapon to this current weapon, and then it calls this one. All works fine and no arrow, and then it spawns this weapon. Perfect. The problem was here, if I press F again, the problem is the list stays at the same point, because an array, it goes here again, the index has not changed, and yeah, that was the problem here. And to solve it's very easy. We have to find a way to change this index. After we pressed F, we can do it in front or later. Let's do it this time in front and see what happens. No, let's do it later because we use here the index. It's not so very important, but let's do it. So how we change this index? We have used this index, and now I want to change this index because this index is already used for this one. And it's very easy actually. You get this variable, weapon index 2, you get this one. This one is the same like here, but now I just add plus one because this one is an integer, it's just a number. And I can add just one. Plus, I write drag out and plus, and I go here to operators add this one. And here I can select how I make this. For example, I want just one more because I want change here this index one more because this one is the same as the 0, 1, 2. If I add 1, it will become 1. If I press later F again, from 1 it will jump to 2 and so on. So, and this one adds 2, but here is one step missing. We have just added to the current current index 1. We have set this, and how we set this, we drag again from weapon index out and set the value. And this one is, oops, and I drag from here, and this one will set the new current, the weapon index. And now I connect this one here to here, and here, this one, and compile, save. And so you can see now all time when I press F, all time I press F, this one will come here, it will check the current index, it will add to 1, and it will change the 0 or the 1 or what it is with plus 1 more. And now the arrow will occur, what I expected before will occur now. That's why it irritated me. So now I press F one time, work, perfect. I press it again, work, perfect. I press it one more, perfect. All three are there, but what happens now? It disappears, and I press more, and I press and I have here's some runtime errors. This was the error which I was expecting before and was a little bit irritated. Sorry for that. Cost a little bit of time, but now it's good. And to solve this one, here's why it's not going away, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. It's the reason for what happens here is I press F all time. This one is adding all time 1 and then 1 again and then 1 again and then 1 again. But the problem is my array list here has only 3 elements. So I have an index of 2 max, but when I press all time F, it adds 1, 1, 1, and I have later here in this value, it stays an index of 4 or 5 or 6, but there is no index 5, 4, 6, and it complains it can't find it because later this index, what we have here, comes later here again. And for example, this one will be a number of 4 or 5, and it will try, this node here will try to get this number 5 from this list. And there is no 5, and that's why it complains error, error, error. There is no index 5 also. So there is a workaround, easy workaround, or more complicated a workaround. What I did is just add a check, and the check is like, yeah, we make a check just, and the check is very easy. A check is all time a if clause or a branch in here in Blueprint, and we check when this index is too big, we set it back to 0. So we find in our array list the last index here, the last one 2, and if it's bigger than 2, for example 3, I check this and say go set this value back to 0. So, and how we make this check, and we get started. First of all, a check is all time a branch. We can start with a branch. You can press B and then click and it will pop up, or you right click and write branch, branch, and will pop up here, and it's flow control. So this branch is our checker, our if clause in programming, and here I want now check this, but how I check this, we can't see this, right? The point is, first of all, you get the variable which you want check, and I want check this variable here. This variable will all time change, so I get this. I drag and drop it here, for example, and now I have this one what I check. But how I check this, and there is, when we drag it out, I can ask with a operation, which means what I use there. There are different ways. I want not use too complicated ones. Yes, this one is okay. This one, if it's equal operator, you probably know it. In programming and Blueprint, a equal operator is 2 equal signs, or you can also write equal, and you find this also operator equal, and then you check the value which you don't want, for example. And I don't want, in this case, the number 3. Why I don't want the number 3? Let me show you this fast again. Here in my array, I have no index 3, right? I have a 2 that I want, but I have here not a 3. For example, if you have here more, of course, in this case, let's say I have 6 here, then I don't want 7. 6 I want because 6 I have, but 7 I have not. So then I would write here 7 if you have more weapons. Let's delete the other ones which I don't need here. Accidentally made. Not accidentally, just for showcase. And let's continue. After I have defined now my check equals, and I have this one connect to this branch here, and this one check it for me. I select this one Q and it makes a straight line. I connect this one here, and this one is just the check. I need do one more step. And the one more step is, after it checked this one, it will say, yes, it is equal to 3, or it will say, no, it is not. If it's not, I will let you do nothing, because then that means I have still here weapons available to select. But if it say it is equal to 3, it means I have no more weapons to select. Now start over again. And this is just one option. Of course, you can solve this in many different ways, but this one is very easy. And what we do is we get again this weapon index, but this time we set it. And oops, let's set this one. And what I'm doing is I set it back to 0. With other words, it will start from start again. This is in my list, it's this the first element, right? And when I compile, save, and this is the thing what I made here. And let's test it. Now let's click this away. And let's test it again. So I press 1 time F, my first element, my first weapon. I press 2nd time, my second weapon, my 3rd weapon. And if I press now 1 more, that would be my element 3, also index 3, and it should start over again. Let's see. And it start indeed over again. And that is the thing what I achieved, a circle select, where it goes through all and starts over again. But there are different ways, of course, to select this also, and that's nice. Of course, you can do for the right hand the same, or a child or something other. You can add weapons, all what you want, or different things. So I think this video was again absolute long. Yeah, too long again, but I hope it helped a little bit and it will work. Of course, you can choose later what you want. The version with this array is probably nice. This one is works also. It's, yeah, all works anyhow. Just use what you think it's good for you. And check perhaps documentation for performance issues, what you should use, what you should not use, and research a little bit about this one. But we are finished with, at least with weapon selection. I will add here some weapons too. And we need some, in the next video, some animations or attack skills and so on, and some emitters, because now we have weapons and we have to do with the weapons something, right? So that's for this video. See you in the next. Bye.